Hi there. Today I'm going to show you how to set a variable in Google Tag Manager. And I'm going to show you how to use the cookie method to set it, which I think is one of the easiest ways to do it. So this diagram that you're looking at here is the high-level view. Essentially, we're pulling a user ID variable out from our server, setting it in a cookie, and then allowing Google Tag Manager to pick it up. So the setup of your server is kind of beyond the scope of this guide, but I'm assuming you have some kind of model view controller methodology or some way to get a user ID, a unique user ID, into your view so that you can then set it in a cookie. Once it's set in the cookie, Google Tag Manager can then just pick it up. So I'm going to move over here to some sample code that we have for our demo site. Just to show you how we're setting this variable in the view. And there are 100 different ways you could set a variable in a view and then into a cookie, but this is one way. You can see that after the user has signed in, so I'm saying if the user has signed in, let's get the user ID and set it into a variable, a JavaScript variable called account ID. Once we have the user ID in that account ID variable, we'll then set it in the cookie. So document.cookie equals, and here's our variable name that we're then going to pick up in Tag Manager. I called it GTM underscore account ID. You could call it whatever you want. The name doesn't matter. The key is I am then setting the user's ID to that variable. This code affects kind of all of this process here. Again, pulling the variable from the server and setting it in the cookie at the end of the day. So now I'm going to move over to Tag Manager and click Variables and set up this variable in Tag Manager. So I'm going to click New User-Defined Variable. I'm going to call it, let's just call it the same thing. What did we call it here? GTM Account ID. So I'm going to call it GTM Account ID. I'm going to click Variable Configuration, and then I will choose first-party cookie because we're setting it in the cookie. I'm going to paste in the same name here in cookie name and click Save. So I've just set that ID now. You can see it's here, GTM Account ID, which means that this variable is now accessible throughout Google Tag Manager. So if I go back to my tag and my Spark AI tag and I edit it, I can just paste in that variable name, GTM account ID, in Google's format here. They have just two parentheses at the beginning and end of the variable. So this variable setting will now pick up that value from the cookie. And I can go into preview mode. I've already saved this, so I'm going to go into preview mode, and I should be able to see that variable then being set after the user logs in. So I'm going to come here. I'm going to sign in to our site here. And after I sign in the previewer, I should now see that value being set in variables. So I'm going to do window loaded, and I should be able to see it right here. Yeah, GTM account ID is being set to this internal ID that we use to uniquely identify each user. So that's it. That's how you can set a user ID variable into your cookie and then pull it out and make it available to Google Tag Manager. Enjoy.